And so the countdown begins. Only 5 weeks left. It feels so surreal seeing that on the first couple of pages, them saying only 5 weeks left and getting those detailed drawings of Naruto and Sasuke. I was like, damn, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't compute. Because in case you didn't know, Naruto's ending in 5 weeks. Let's make the best of it. Alright, so did anyone else feel like a lot of the events in this chapter is going to be a lot more impactful once it gets animated and watching it? Because, like, while you're reading it in the manga, yeah, it looks cool and everything, but a lot of this chapter was dialogueless up until towards the end. It really just was light on the dialogue. So in the anime, you're going to have the music, you're going to have the animation, and you're just going to have, like, the changing expressions and things of that nature. And to be honest with you, whenever I think of Naruto vs. Sasuke Part 1, I always think of the anime more so than the manga, because the anime just had, like, you know, crazy intensity and everything to it. And while the manga was good and everything, I just really resonate more with the anime. So seeing a lot of the events in this chapter in the beginning of their fight really just makes me like, oh man, I can't wait to see this animated. So like I said, a lot of this chapter didn't really have dialogue, which is good because this is the final fight and this should more so be along the lines of just straight up fucking going in, non-stop action, just kicking ass. So I was glad in a sense that for the most part it didn't have much dialogue in the beginning. Towards the end when it started throwing in the flashbacks, I think most of us were like, okay, right now with only 5 chapters to go, we definitely don't need this right now. Like, I was fine with there being, because I knew there was going to be flashbacks definitely with this fight, and I was totally fine with it up until we got the announcement that there's only 5 weeks left, 5 chapters left. Then that kind of got me a little bit worried. Like, okay, we got a lot of things to cover, let alone this fight. So while it kind of adds to the emotional value of everything, at the end of the day, it's taking away from the limited amount of content we have left. So I'm a little bit like, I don't really want to see flashbacks right now, especially when it's coming towards only 4 more chapters after this. I definitely think the best bit of the chapter was the epic clash between the Susanoo and the Kyuubi. That shit looked hype as hell. That's what I want to see. And again, kind of just all makes me think, yeah, the anime is going to do this way better. And that's not to say that this isn't good or anything, but you get what I mean. The anime's vibe is just a totally different thing. Also, I definitely felt that it was impactful and important, the words that were spoken at the end of the chapter, because if you remember correctly, those were some words that tie into the first fight, I believe, that they had. And I think it was said again when they fought in the 5 Kage Summit, or towards the end of the 5 Kage Summit, where they had that little clash, that basically when 2 shinobi of a high caliber both clash, they'll be able to understand each other without saying anything. And with majority of the chapter not being any dialogue, and him kind of saying that Sasuke at the end of the chapter, it definitely displays that, yeah, they've come a long way since then. So it was kind of more so along the lines of symbolic in a sense, and tied into their first fight in Part 1, and then their fight again, or the little clash in the 5 Kage Summit. You can definitely see Kishimoto as putting all the emotion he possibly can into this fight. I mean, at times it does feel a little bit like, whoa, the relationship just sounds a little bit, and I get it, that Kishimoto's trying to just show how far they've come and that they're finally accepting that, you know, Sasuke does accept that Naruto is the best friend he's ever had, and Naruto, of course, continuously saying that as well. But sometimes where Sasuke's like, don't you realize this is the place I picked? This is where we first had our class and everything. I was like, but in all seriousness, for the most part, it was a good chapter. It was alright. The fight commencing, I really liked the clashing, and again, I feel as though a lot of these moments and the elements that were put into this chapter is going to have more impact when we get to the anime. But for now, it was good stuff, and it's just like, hopefully less on the flashbacks and everything, which there wasn't too many in this one, but there still were a couple pages dedicated to it, and with only 4 chapters left, I'm hoping we're light on that, because again, I don't think he's going to be able to wrap everything up with all these 4 chapters, and I honestly feel as though the last Naruto the movie, that's going to be the job of that movie, for it to kind of wrap everything up. And it's a shame, because if you think about it, let's just say Kishimoto decides in these remaining 4 chapters in the end to leave it off on a cliffhanger, and it's just all going to be this Naruto versus Sasuke fight. The last Naruto the movie will air in Japan in December, but we don't ever get the movie until months later, sometimes close to a year later. So if you look at it like that, it's like, oh my gosh, we could potentially be going almost a year without knowing what the fuck is gonna happen, which would be devastating. And don't forget that there was that picture of Naruto in the last with his hand bandaged, almost as if he's gonna sustain severe injury in this fight against Sasuke. But yeah, again, so far, alright fight. Looking forward to more. Just definitely let's cut down on those flashbacks and get more of that action, because from what we got this far, it was pretty cool shit. Just really sad that it's fucking ending soon. It's like, again, it feels too surreal. In 5 weeks time, we will be in a world without Naruto. Like, damn. But let me know what you thought of this chapter. First of all, how did you feel about a lot of the elements of it being very light on the dialogue and just them clashing? Do you feel as though this isn't the time to have, you know, flashbacks in there? Also, did it feel a little bit too like he was driving that emotion in there, which kind of made it come across a little bit weird? And do you think that he honestly is going to be able to wrap up everything that we want to know in the last 4 chapters? Or are we going to have to wait almost an entire year to find out what the fuck is going to happen in the end of Naruto? And your overall thoughts of the chapter? Again, only 5 weeks to go. Let's enjoy them. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. My oh my, we've come a long way.